Welcome back to episode 2 of my Let's Play Kerbal Space Program series. In this case, this is the beta version, or 0.9, as it's known. Where do we leave it? Well, we made our first flight, and we'd done a couple of missions, but I'd picked up a mission which was pretty horrible. Between the episodes, I tried to do this over and over and over. This mission is near impossible. The reason why is you have to actually turn on or use the solid fuel booster when you're between these two altitudes and between these two speeds. Let me tell you, not gonna happen. We're gonna sacrifice 900 of our dollars and some of our reputation, because that's just not happening. It really is just not happening. Instead, we're going to look at missions which are open-ended, that they're just do this thing and you get this thing. So altitude, for example, there's no special requirements in there, just hit 22,000 meters, I think it is. Yeah, meters, so 60,000 feet or so. Yeah, we'll take that one. And escape the atmosphere. I get nearly $30,000, 15 science, and 95, forgot what this is called, reputation. And we'll take that one as well. So, we've got $45,000. What can we build to take us up out of the atmosphere? And, you know, as a byproduct, we're also going to pass that 22,000 meters. Well, in fact, before I do that, we've got some issues with various things. Lots of changes to the way you do things in the beta version, the career mode, obviously means that these buildings are a lot smaller than you expect. That also means that they actually don't have you don't have as many features, don't have as many abilities until you upgrade them. For example, this one, I can't. If you know what a maneuver node is, you may not. We'll cover it. I can't use any of those until I upgrade this. I can't get any more missions until I upgrade this. My launch pad can only take 18 tons. If I upgrade it, it can take a lot more. But again, that's all money out of our cash, out of our bank. So, yeah, we're going to have to be a little bit careful. So, what can we build? Well, let's take a stab at this. We want a command pod, just like normal. And I want to make sure I put onto that command pod a parachute, because, in fact, yeah, let me just get rid of Jeb. I want to keep him alive. Not that I'm going to kill anyone, of course. That would never happen. Nope. And what are we going to add on to it? Well, I think I'm going to add on one of this. Oh, no, I need a separator first. Separator. Where are you? I'm going to add on a fuel tank, and this is a liquid fuel. We haven't done that before. We've been using these solid fuel boosters, but now I think I'm going to use this smallest liquid fuel engine. The reason why it's a small one, it's a terrible amount of thrust compared to this one, but it's tiny mass, and I want it to be quite efficient, because it's going to be used when we're getting towards upper atmosphere or even in space itself, and that, you know, that efficiency, that use of this, yeah, it's probably more than I actually. There we go. Propellants, 1.52 per second max. And this is 6 second max, so it's about a quarter of what we can actually do. Yeah. So that's our final stage. We're going to another separator. That's my efficient top stage, if you like. And then we're going to need another stage. Now, I could just use lots of solid fuel boosters, but I don't have any control with those. So instead I'm going to add a couple more of these fuel tanks. I think I can only support 2 here. We'll try it with 3. I think, in fact no, I think we're going to be oversized if I actually put any more on these, so I'm going to finish that with another liquid fuel engine. And another stack decoupler. Stop it. In fact, let's call this thing something. Upper Atmos rocket. You'll do. So, what are we going to put underneath that? Well, we've got our separator. Yeah, we do. And I'm going to put solid fuel booster, separator, and another solid fuel booster. Yes, this thing is looking a little bit absurd, but in terms of longest rocket ever, we've got the bottom stage firing, then a separator, next stage firing, then a separator, the liquid fuel firing, then the separator up here, then this one firing, then separating the parachute. So that all looks fine to me. Can we put any science on it? Well, what I don't have any of the additional science experiments. So I'll take a couple of mystery goo because why not? Utility, not going to need any of those. And we pretty much don't have anything else at the moment. So let's give this a try. We could look at additional stages with some science, but I'm not sure we're going to have the weight. Where's the weight on the screen? Does it show me? It'd be nice. Information. 17.4 tons of 18. So there's no way I'm going to get any more on that launch pad by adding on extra stuff. Let's see what the engines are. Even adding an extra one, this is going to be too heavy by far. Yeah, so 3 tons or so. So nope, that's not going to happen. This is about the most we can fit. One additional thing to talk about here is the Rocketeer's paradox. I'm not sure what its exact name is. I think that's it. Is that the more fuel you add, or the more weight you add, the more fuel you're going to need to lift that weight, and in turn you're going to need more fuel to lift that fuel, to lift the fuel, and you get the idea. It becomes ridiculous as you're trying to get heavier and heavier rockets. So that's just something to bear in mind, that sometimes having lots and lots of rocket stages is not the best. But in this case, this is going to cost us, what, 9,000? And we got 45,000, so we're comfortably available if we can actually fulfill those mission requirements. And hopefully this thing is going to fall over on me. So there we are, altitude of 22,000 feet and reach space. I'm also going to try, and I say try, to reach orbit. Not because I've got a mission for it, and I've increased the size of the UI here. Hopefully this is a bit easier for you to see. Yeah, so I'm going to try and reach orbit. I don't have any maneuver nodes though, so I'm going to have to try to reach orbit manually. Yes! If you're trying to make it hard for yourself, make sure that you can just put your foot on the throttle and head for orbit. So let's give this a go. I'm going to throttle up to the top by just holding shift. Not that that will do anything for the solid fuel boosters, the SFBs, but I'm going to take off. And there goes the bottom stage, and as you can see at the bottom left, there's my solid fuel, and this isn't going to last us very long at all. It's literally, these first two stages are really just trying to boost us out of the lower atmosphere. If you look at the very top of the screen near the altimeter, we're in the light blue stage, and I don't really want to try and... I'm going to bring the stability control just to make sure we're going straight up. Yeah, there we go. I don't want to try and start angling us or turning us over, if you like, until we get much higher. Because the longer we spend in this lower atmosphere, the kind of worse it's going to get. And incidentally, trying to turn a rocket this long, not going to be easy. So as you can see at the bottom left, I'm kind of feathering my yaw controls just to keep the thing pointing straight up. And here comes my liquid fuel stage. Now at this point I'm going to throttle back a little bit. Still going to be going up. But if I look at my fuel gauges, ideally what I want to do here is make sure that I'm a little bit conservative with my liquid fuel. And we're passing 8,000 meters. So I can probably tip us a little bit over. There we go. You see the nav ball at the bottom of the screen, how far over we are. Not very much at all. But we are increasing. So what I could do is just pull back the throttle a little bit. Make sure we're being particularly efficient, and then look at the orbit map. So if I press that button, come to here, we're going to look at our apoapsis. That's a point of the highest point of our orbit. The other one's called the periapsis, and that's going to be on the other side of the planet. But right now, this is going up. What we want to try and do is tilt over. What this is going to do is obviously increase our velocity sideways, which should start to increase our apoapsis quite a bit. Let's see what that says. Yeah, there it goes. Apoapsis is going higher. And if I throttle up a bit now, keep tilting us, apoapsis is going to go, bring up the nav ball, going to go up, and I think I'm out of fuel. So now we engage our little tiny engine. And that's really going to be more concerned with just throwing us sideways. As you can see, we're increasing again. If I just throttle up, you'll see on the fuel gauges up here, fuel gauges are going down a lot slower, just because this rocket is nowhere near the size of the other one. It's not going to use as much fuel, and apoapsis, depending on how you pronounce that, is coming up to 70,000. There we go. So I'm going to throttle back, and we've fulfilled one of our contracts, which is the altitude record. That's cool. Gets us some more money. But here we have our little rocket with not much to do. So I'm going to tilt it over so that we're roughly on the nav ball, pointing at the, if you like, parallel to the Earth's surface, or just about parallel. I'm going to zoom in. We're not quite out of the atmosphere just yet. 70,000 should be enough, but we're approaching the apoapsis, so let's just throttle back up again. What this should do is lengthen the actual this parabola out, hopefully, until it goes into a full orbit. So if I I might have actually waited too late there, so that's something I need to take account of in future attempts. But we have plenty of fuel, so just pop back to staging, so camera. Here we are going sideways, and we are in space now. So if I get a crew report, I'm going to get 5 science for that. Yep, we're very much in space right now. And let's get observe the mystery goo, which is getting very cold. So that's still in the upper atmosphere as far as that's concerned. And this thing is going down. I don't want it to go down. No! I want it to go up. My path is getting larger and the apoapsis is moving. That's an important point because what I want to do is swap places with a periapsis, which means that I'm in a stable orbit. Unfortunately, it's not a very high orbit, it's only 65 closest approach, so that will pull me back in gradually. However, I do have fuel left, and that's quite important. I've reached space now, so that's the second contract. If you pop back here, you'll see I'm orbiting. But the problem with this, or a little bit of a problem with this, is that I don't really have much in the way of electricity generation. Certainly don't have much in the way of fuel left. But if I want to brake to get to the planet, I'm going to have to use that fuel to get back down. So I can't take that down too low, otherwise I'm going to be stuck up here for ages. Having said that, I'm nearly into space as far as that as far as the goo is concerned. I wonder if I can throttle up a little bit more and get that going. Now, the way to increase your orbit size is to just throttle in the same direction. We're going to accelerate, if you like, and that should take our orbit size up. But it really does depend on it really does depend on how much fuel I've got left, because I need to be able to get back down again, otherwise that'd be terrible. So let's increase a little bit, and do I have enough, I wonder? Well, what I've effectively done there, if I look out, I've changed the other side of the orbit all the way back out, and that's unfortunately, I've got no maneuver nodes, so all I can really do is actually apply this at certain points, and we have effects. So I am going to head out into space. My main concern is going to be, do I have enough fuel to bring this down? If we're at a high enough altitude now, I think 78, yeah, so let's just use the other goo. That should be high enough to get us more science, hopefully. Yep, seems to become a sphere. It also appears to become brittle. So we've got some science for that. Now I've got a choice. I can either burn the rockets to try and bring me back into the atmosphere, or wait to do so when I'm around the other side of the planet. That it's going to apply to the opposite side, if you like. So if I speed up here, I'm going to go through the dark side, which is going to have a problem with my electric charge, which I need to be able to do anything. So we'll see if this works. If it doesn't, then it's going to get very, very cold for, what's the guy's name? Kerbal number 3? Yep. I have such a high regard for the Kerbals. Let's increase the time warp. And as you'll see, we go into the dark side. Our batteries are okay when we're not using power, so that's good. Time warp, and we're approaching apoapsis, so I'm going to decrease the time warp a little bit. Now I'm going to try and burn this thing. So if I drop us back, here we are, and I'm going to need to Flip us. Have I already flipped us? That's the thing. I think I have. Yeah, the idea is you fire contrary to the motion. So we're going to fire backwards, if you like. Instead of increasing, we're going to decrease our speed, which as we've gone around the planet, I'm now facing backwards. So let's have a look at the orbit map and let's see what it's doing. I'm already inside the planet. Just from that tiny amount of fuel. If I do nothing else, I'm going to come in at that kind of angle, which is okay. It brings us in mainly on the desert, which is what I do actually want. I do want a different biome, and that will in turn let us do a little bit more science once we've landed and get a bit more out of this journey. So let's speed things up a little bit. When I say a little bit, I mean quite a bit. Don't want to be here all day. And we're coming in. Let's flip into the staging view. Not necessarily sure that's the best way to actually come in for landing. So we're at 58,000 meters and, well, we don't need that anymore. Because just with the reaction wheels and the command structure, yep, we're just going to come in and enter the atmosphere. Now, if I had deadly re-entry on, this would be a problem. I don't have any heat shields. But as we don't, it should be okay. 24,000 meters. And if I turn the camera, see we're heading towards, well, maybe not so good. We're kind of heading toward the mountains. But we'll see how this turns out. 13,000 and we'll be deploying our parachute shortly. Yeah, we're through the atmosphere. So we can deploy the parachute and I can probably accelerate. Get us down a little bit faster. And we are going to come in on a mountain. I wonder if that's a separate biome to the desert. Or short of the mountain as the case may be. That explosion was thankfully not me, that was the rocket engine hitting the ground some ways away. Worried me for a second. Now we're passing, yeah, 1,500 meters. Remember that I'm not at sea level now, so I'm on a mountain. So I'm at 1,200 meters anyway. So what can we do here? Can we do an EVA? Looks like it. Yes, yes, yes. Whoops. Get up, Kerbal. So off he can trot. And we get an EVA report. Some more science. Cool. Gonna grab back onto it. And let's review the report. Yes, it wasn't necessary. Fine. Take data and then store everything. Yeah, okay. And we're going to board. At this point, we're pretty much done for this mission. Let's recover the vessel. Here we go. Science earned 34. One mission. Pretty damn good. Parts, well, yeah, we got some parts back. And he hasn't got any XP. No idea why, but he hasn't got any XP. As you can see, our reputation has gone up hugely. We've now got nearly $80,000, or credits, whatever you want to call them, in Kerbal money, and 75 science. And it's night time here on the base. So what we're going to spend that on? Well, I certainly want to go a little bit further into our science tree. Some additional things that would be worthwhile getting out. I particularly want to head down and get more science, so more experiments, if you like. That should open things even faster. But there are some essentials to get a little bit further, mainly this stability one. This radial decoupler is actually pretty important. It lets you stack more rockets at the same stage, if you like. So if you want to fire multiple rockets at once, get more thrust at once, you're going to need to attach them to the sides of your existing rocket, and you can't really do that without a decoupler. Or I suppose you could, but you can't detach them independent of your main column, if you like, and that's really useful. The winglet is just for stability reasons. Yeah, manufacturer found lying by the side of the road. That's how good it is. And also these aerodynamic nose cones, and that helps for the boosters that you're going to strap to the sides of your rockets. So we're definitely going to take that one. I know we have some more choices. We can go, I've got 57 science left. We can go for better, larger, particularly that solid fuel booster is much larger than our existing solid fuel booster stage. We could go for that. That's fairly cheap. Or we could go for one of these more expensive ones. The science experiments. The flight control. A lot of this is, yeah, it's nicer. I don't think I want it just yet though. And then struts. An improved radial decoupler. Launch stability enhancer. That's just basically a way of propping it up, propping your rocket up, and then yeah, okay. I'm not going to want that either. I think I may take this, but let's have a look at the missions first. Next mission I probably want to take, because hey, we've just done it manually, is Orbit Kerbal, and that is 59,000 Kerbin dollars and 30 science. Now, wouldn't that be cool? That should be, yeah, ensure that periapsis is higher than 70k up. Yeah, we'll take that. Now, the others I'm going to have a look through. Is there anything that is particularly good? That one might be good. It's the altitude requirement that I'm a little bit careful of. Remember, we were going about 70,000 at periapsis. Initially, and I've got to pass through this stage at the same point that I fire up that engine, so maybe not. Those tend to be pretty annoying ones to actually do. These visual survey ones, they're in, I haven't seen these missions before, so I assume they're new to the beta. Let me know if you guys think that they were there earlier, and let me know if I'm doing things you think is wrong. Please leave a comment. What can we do? I'm going to have to pass over a certain zone above 16,000 meters. Can I actually do that, I wonder? It should be shown on the map. It is. It's right, it's right above, it looks like. I could do with showing base. I think the base is actually right next to that. Not marking the base. If you give me any ability to get rid of you, to show the base at all. No, you're not. I know it's pretty close though. So maybe we come back to doing that one after we achieve orbit. We're coming up to half an hour, but yeah, we can probably fire into orbit. We've already built the ship, remember? So Yes, the amazing ship that it is. Is there anything else I want to add on top of it? New stuff? I don't think there is. I don't have enough tonnage on the launch to actually do anything new, so we're going to do the same thing again. My only mission is to achieve orbit. And it is nighttime, so this is going to be a little bit different. Maybe harder to see. I'm thinking of actually putting one of the mods on, which does make it far more realistic, but what that will mean is the dark side of things, the right-hand side of the rocket in this case, is going to be actually far darker. In space, very often in like series like Star Trek and everything else, you see like the dark side of things being quite light, easy to see. In space, no, they're completely black, unless you get Earthshine or albedo and all kinds of other effects like that. But certainly far darker than this. So maybe I'll add that one. Depends. So continue to go straight up, as we did before. The lower atmosphere. Can't really control much at this stage. And if you heard that, that was Windows saying, hey, you're pressing shift a lot, why don't you turn on sticky keys? No. Just got to keep an eye on my speed and my fuel, and hope against hope I can actually make it into orbit. I mean, there's the base, so that zone we had to pass over is somewhere down here. Not quite as easy because you got to roll and you got to pitch in yaw probably to get over it from launch. So I'm not going to do that initially, not until I get a lot more practice in. See, as you can see, I can still see this side, but there should really be no light out here that actually hits it, because the dark side of the planet's that way, so I shouldn't be able to see half of this, but there we go. And can we throttle back a little bit and start to roll? Yaw even. And I may have made a mistake by keeping it throttled up all the way. We'll see if I can correct that. Let's just continue yawing. Where's my orbit map? Okay, so I'm already shut my engine down. That's already 80,000 meters. So as I approach this, because I still don't have any ability to add in maneuver node, I'm going to have to make sure I'm aligned roughly horizontally with respect to the planet. And I'm probably going to start firing earlier this time. I was right up here previously. Not quite something that I want to do. I want to make sure I apply this just at the right point as I approach, because it's going to be a fairly long burn. There's the music. We've hit space, I think. And whoops. Here goes my burn. The orbit map, and you'll see it now lengthening as we approach apoapsis. E03, it's not changing much, but that's okay. What I'm really looking for, again, is its flipping position. And we're just increasing our sideways speed. We want it to, a couple of thousand meters per second. Not sure what the exact orbital velocity for Kerbal is. We'll see. And unfortunately, we're going to head into the dark side at the same time we're doing this, so might not be as easy to see in the staging mode. Yeah, it's completely horizontally now. So we're actually going down a little bit. Something we're going to need to keep an eye on. As long as we stay above 70, we should be fine. And just watching that. Here it comes. Come on. I'm going to have to throttle back to make sure that I keep enough fuel. And roughly they've swapped positions. 112 on that side, 65 on this side. Not too concerned. 65 would... maybe a little bit more. There we go. Just with a little bit of change, that ensures that right now, unless I do anything, I'm going to be, well, pretty much up here forever. And yeah, I've got a stable orbit without maneuver nodes. Ha! Suck on that one. And we can now go back down. And if I had the realistic lighting, you probably wouldn't be able to see a thing at this point. So, yeah, maybe I shouldn't. In fact, with the gamma on OBS, you maybe will not be able to see this at all. So let's do something that you will be able to see. If I flip ship around, and no, wrong key. Well, he's stuck up here forever. At this point, yeah, I should have actually pressed shift and I pressed space. So we've achieved orbit. Duffield really likes it. Down there in the bottom corner. You can't go EVA because the astronaut complex upgrade is required. And Duffield is going to really enjoy orbit. That's the end of this episode. Next episode, we'll see what we do with further missions and try to get someone back. Duffield is definitely not coming back. Bye, Kerbal. Thanks for watching. Oh, alright. I reversed the flight just so that Duffield could live another day. Normally, I'd let him die, but we'll see more next episode.